Yeah, I'm living my best life.
Hello and welcome to another episode of A Lot of Alexis. As always, I'm so glad you're here, and I have something very fun and exciting to share with you guys today. I went on a big trip, and I kept it a secret for a very long time, and if you know me, you know I do keep secrets well. However, I hate being the vault of a secret keeper. If it's a Christmas present that I got for you in advance, I want to give it to you immediately. It's really, really, really hard for me to keep a secret of my own. If you're a friend and you tell me a secret, it's going to the grave with me. But it's really hard when it's a secret of my own and it's like, oh, I could spoil it. But I kept a secret for 6 whole months. So I'm going to tell you about it. Matt, my husband, turned 30 years old. The big 30. For some reason, 30 is always such a big deal in people's minds. So I'm a doer. I'm a go big or go home. 30 years old. We're doing it. We're going on a trip. We're going on a trip. That's decided. It's done. But where are we going to go? I'm taking you through the process of the planning the trip while we're there and how we liked it. So let's get into it. I decided we're going on a trip, but where? There's a few places that Matt and I talk about going, that we want to go to on vacation. I decided on Austin, Texas, and I'll tell you why. We've talked about Austin, Texas a lot for one reason and one reason only. We love Joe Rogan. Matt and I are Joe Rogan fans. We've seen him live. He's phenomenal. And he owns a comedy club in Austin, Texas. It's called Comedy Mothership. If you don't know, now you know. In my eyes, nothing was better for Matt's 30th birthday than to bring him to Comedy Mothership on his birthday for the big 3-0. It was happening. So now we know the location. Next up, we're getting a house, we're inviting friends and family, and we're doing it up big. So I do my research, I find a house, we get the peeps to come along with us. So Matt has no idea, hence why I'm so excited about this dang secret. I planned this trip a little over 6 months in advance, and I was a little nervous because at this point we have the location, we have the house booked, we have the house guests, everybody's really, 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 really excited, but now nobody can say anything. And the only detail that I have worked out is that we are going to Comedy Mothership. The way that their tickets work is every couple weeks, new shows get released, like months in advance. So you bet your bottom dollar, my eyeballs were open every single morning, checking to see if his birthday weekend tickets were released yet. So, like I said, this was 6 months in advance, and every couple weeks it would get closer and closer, but I had to keep it a secret that every morning I'm opening up my phone, going into Safari, and Google searching Comedy Mothership to see if these tickets are up. And I have to also remember that it's a secret. So Matt and I aren't shy to going on each other's phones, or, oh, can I look something up really quick? Or, oh, what was that guy's name again? And you look him up. So we're grabbing each other's phones, and it's just kind of a normal thing. So Matt goes to grab my phone one day just to check, I don't know what. It felt normal. And I look like a psychomaniac lunging for my phone for the first time. We've been together 11 years and I've never acted weird with him touching my phone. And so I'm like, well, this looks really sketchy. How am I supposed to cover it? Because when you open my Safari, you can see it's like a bookmark website, Comedy Mothership. And when you look on Safari, there's even it's like a little picture for it. So my cover's blown because I don't know why I think that if he sees this on my safari that he's like, oh, we're going to Austin, Texas for my 30th birthday and we're going to Comedy Mothership, but I just can't risk it. I can't risk it. So I lunge for my phone, clear my history, and somehow he didn't suspect like anything weird. But I'm checking for months. These tickets did not come up soon. It was months and months and months that every single morning, this is my job now, is to get these tickets. So finally, for his birthday weekend, the tickets are up. One morning I wake up, it's like Christmas. So I buy the tickets for the amount of people that are going, and I've done it. Because at this point, this is truly a perfect trip. Like, we're going to the dream place. We're going to the dream venue. We have the house and the people going. So I'm like, we could plan nothing else, and this is a literal dream for him. So when I see the tickets, it's like the chips could not have fallen into place more perfectly, because the comedian that was there for his birthday was a comedian who we love. His name is Steve Byrne. If you have not seen him live, you absolutely have to go. His show is so fun. So not only are all of those other components literally perfection, we're also going to see a phenomenal comedian. I mean, they're all phenomenal there, but this is someone like we really, really were excited to see. So now I'm thinking, how do I eventually tell him? Because although it's far out, it's really stressful when there's a big secret and you're going to do things with people who know about the secret and they can't say anything. So, you know, we're spending a couple months looking for the tickets. They've been secured. Now, since I booked the trip, we're spending even more months. Every little thing that we do, every little dinner with friends, dinner with family, someone stops by the house just to say hello. I have to message them on the side saying, hey, remember, Matt knows absolutely nothing about the trip, so don't slip. And it's really actually stressful when you're not the only one keeping a big secret. So luckily, hindsight, spoiler alert, no one ruined it. We had a couple close calls that I don't know how he didn't hear them, but you know, it all worked out. If I had it my way, I would have literally packed a bag for him and said, hey, guess what? Tomorrow we're waking up at 4 a.m. We're driving to the airport. Surprise, just trust me. But we do have Callie. And she's 2, and we have not left her for this long. And we nonetheless haven't left her on a plane in another state. Like, I know it's only an hour difference, but like even a different time zone. It's just a little foreign to us. So I said, if I tell Matt and I do that plan and I say, hey, we're just taking a hike, it's going to be so spontaneous, he would be so sad that we were leaving Cali for a long weekend. So ex-nay that plan, can't do it. So I said, well, I'll just kind of like pick a date and I'll tell him, and maybe, 2 weeks before or a month before, and then the pressure's off. Everybody can just talk about it. Well, when I tell you that the perfect storm literally fell into my lap. So like I said, Steve Byrne is the comedian that we were going to see now at Comedy Mothership. And this is kind of like a web of a story, so stick with me. Steve Byrne has a podcast with the comedian Joe Gatto from Impractical Jokers, who we also love. So the two of them have a podcast, and I follow their Instagram. So Joe Gatto posts on the podcast story, and he says, write in, and if we pick you, we're going to start a new segment. You'll be able to be on the podcast live through a phone call. So, I just love the idea. So I write in, and I get picked, and they call me to be on the podcast. So now I'm on the phone talking to Joe Gatto and Steve Byrne on their podcast, which, by the way, I can't believe I'm saying that. Like, that is so cool. So like an idiot, I'm on their podcast. And then as like a sign off, I'm like, oh, you guys are great. Steve, we're coming to see you in March. And then I get off the podcast and I just realize, you blew the surprise that you're going to see Steve in March. So now I can't not tell Matt that I was on this podcast because it's such a cool story. I'm not just going to not tell him that. But now he's going to be waiting for this episode that comes out. And when he hears it, he's going to know that we're going to see Steve Byrne in March. And all he has to do is look up where he's performing. So I'm sitting on it and I'm just thinking, I either messed up or made an even more perfect storm. So I call my mom, as I do 10 times a day, and I'm like, listen, this is what I did. And she actually said, what a cool way to tell him. The podcast is going to come out. You're going to listen to it together. And you're going to say, surprise. So it was actually kind of cool because just like we pre-record some stuff here for the podcast, that was a pre-recorded episode. And it came out like, I think 2 months later, which happened to be 1 month exactly before our Texas trip. So I was like checking this podcast, the Two Cool Moms podcast, to see when the episode came out that I was on. And then finally it came out. And so I was really hoping that Matt wasn't checking the Spotify. So he came home that day and I said, okay, I can't wait any longer. Like, listen, the podcast came out that I'm on.
Hi, thanks for calling Mommy. It's Joe and Steve.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you? What's your name?
My name is Alexis Cooper. I'm so excited.
Hi, Alexis. Thank you so much for calling into the Mommies.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
We are here to help. So what is your dilemma, Alexis?
My dilemma is that I feel like I'm playing the lottery every night when I put my toddler to bed, whether or not she's going to wake up and what time it'll be, or if she's going to sleep through the night.
Ah, okay. How old's the toddler now?
She'll be 2 in March.
Oh, yeah. That's a tough one. I speaking from my experience, my daughter didn't sleep through the night the first time until she was 2 years old. And then my son slept through the night when he was 6 months old. So I do think it is a lottery crapshoot kind of situation. Yeah.
Monsters Incorporated.
Yes.
She loves it.
Watch Monsters Incorporated. That'll help. In terms of like sleeping and this is like, I mean, my wife does this for a living. Like literally, she does this for a living. So I hear about this all the time. But I guess if you visit my wife.
So your answer to Alexis is call the help from us is to talk to you're outsourcing the help.
But this is like what she does for a living. So if you want to DM her on Instagram, I'll tell her to hook you up. But it's literally My Dreamy Sleeper. That's what my wife's handle is, and she literally.
Get out of here.
I swear to God, yeah. So because we had it as a gift when we were, because we were going through the same thing. When my daughter was born, I guess it's 3 months in, your child is, I guess, mature enough at that time period as a baby to adapt to sleep training. And it's just, it's a set of circumstances that you're going to put your kid into. It's going to seem very uncomfortable, but once they adapt to it, all of a sudden, your child's getting sleep, you're getting sleep, and you're so much the better for it. So I don't know exactly what to tell you because I haven't had the training.
Talk to his wife. So talk to Steve's wife. What's her podcast called?
It's called My Husband's a Dipshit. But yeah, just go to My Dreamy Sleeper. I literally tagged her in something like a post or two ago. But it's literally what she does for a living.
Amazing.
So
yeah,
she's worked with people she signed many NDAs with that I could get her sued for right now. But
oh my gosh, you're hilarious.
But honestly, I mean, it is one of those things where, boy, if your kid's not sleeping, it affects everything. And my heart goes out to you, and it affects the whole household, everything.
For sure. Are you
absolutely?
Do you find yourself a little bit more cranky?
Do I personally get more cranky when she doesn't sleep?
Yes.
For sure.
Yes, yeah. Okay, well, I'm sending you lots of love and patience during this time, but definitely check out Steve's wife's website for help.
I wish I had a promo code or something, but it's, if you go to My Dreamy Sleeper, like on Instagram, or just look at me up or whatever. But that, I mean, I'll literally text her today and say, hey, we have a caller in from Too Cool. Alexis is gonna reach out to you. I would love to help you out, and I know she'd love to help you out too.
That's awesome. Yeah. Look at this. We're helping the world.
This was perfect then. I called the right spot.
You definitely did.
Look at that. That
worked out great.
Slam dunk.
Well, thanks for calling Mommy. We love you, Alexis. Thanks for listening.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve. I'm coming to see you in March. I'm so excited.
No promo code.
You have to pay full price for Steve's ticket.
But that's awesome.
Guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you, Alexis. Bye.
That's so sweet.
Bye.
So I go through the episode, and he hears it, and he goes, wait, what? I said, did you hear what I said? He goes, yeah, but what does that mean? I said we're going to see Steve in March. And he goes, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, are we going for my birthday? This is awesome. I said, yeah, why don't you check where he's performing? And so that was a really cool moment because he looked it up and he literally could not believe it. I mean, it was the dream come true. Like, it was the exact reaction I had hoped he was going to have when I was working so hard for months to try and keep this so perfect. So that was really cool. But what a weird, perfect, crazy series of events to happen. So at this point, it's a month before the trip. We're super excited. Thank God. No one has to, keep that secret anymore, except there's always a little bit of a tricky spot with me because he doesn't know that anybody is going on the trip with us. I made the decision to make my life harder again and create another secret, which is, cool, we're going on this trip. It's a dream. It's just us. Why did I have to say that? I don't know. I'm just making my life harder. So now I have to specify to all the people that we're seeing, hey, so he knows about the trip, but he specifically doesn't know that people are going. So now everyone's confused and they're just like trying to hold on tight, like the good friends that they are. And the short of it is that we make it. It's the day of the trip and he has no idea that anybody's coming. So we have a group of people that are coming who show up at the airport. So I am like a detective the day of because I'm hiding. It's like 4 a.m. Who am I texting? I'm like hiding my phone, trying to make sure that like the timing of everybody showing up at the airport is right. And we're through security and there's a lot of moving parts, but I know that it's coming to a halt soon because soon he will know that people are coming on this trip with us. So we make it through security. My sister and her friend and our other friend are already there. And so we like walk around to the Starbucks. We come back, we sit down, boom, surprise. They're coming with us. It's perfect. It takes a little bit of that, like a lot of the pressure off. So they surprise him at the airport. And then we have this epic plane ride. So we took Southwest we took Southwest round trip. And they hooked us up for his birthday. So we get on the plane and she saw that we had like a group of X amount and made sure that we could all sit together, which I love flight attendants that do that on Southwest. Like it just makes your experience so much better. So shout out to Julie. We still remember her name. And they made a whole spectacle of Matt's birthday. So I'll actually, when this episode airs, I'll reshare the video of Matt on the plane. She made him stand up in the aisle, gave him a crown, made everybody close their windows on the plane so it was totally pitch black. And then they put on like their call lights. We all sang happy birthday. And then she made Matt like act like he was blowing out candles, and all of the lights, like she had everybody turn them off. So it was just like so special. And we drank a lot on the plane, and then she didn't charge us. So that's really nice too. So he felt really special, and we got a lot of free drinks. So far the trip's going pretty perfect. So when we land, Matt also didn't know where we were staying because I couldn't tell him that we were in a 4-bedroom house because he would say, why are we staying in a 4-bedroom house? So he didn't know where we were staying. I kept like saying the word hotel, so I think he legitimately thought we were going to a hotel and like all had our own rooms. But we couldn't check in early because it was actually an Airbnb. So we land and we have like 4 hours to spare. Which, if you ever fly in somewhere and can't check in and you have this luggage with you, it's not fun. Like, the trip's really fun, but then you're staring at your bags and you're like, yeah, this is great, but I'm not sure like what to do or where to go. So guarantee like we're gonna find a bar, a restaurant, and you know, they're gonna have to suck it up and we're just gonna shove our bags to the side and make the most of it. So we went to this stop. It was Franklin Barbecue, which is like a world-renowned barbecue place. We didn't know. We just looked up a place that looked yummy and was open. And when we got there, we realized like, oh, this is like the place. But we Ubered there. We had all of our bags. There was no way that we were like, I don't know, we had to Uber. So, because there was no need to rent a car for the weekend. Like, we knew we were going to be Ubering and everything was like really close and walkable. So the short of it is we got an Uber, we show up at this Franklin Barbecue, and there's like a line around the building. And initially we're like, what is going on? Like, is this like the place? Whatever. We quickly find out that it is the place. And if you get under a 2-hour wait, it's unheard of. So we're like, oh, cool. Like, of course that's the scenario. But on the flip side, like, it's awesome that we found this as our first stop, like checking it off the bucket list, because I also feel like it's a spot that if we left and hadn't tried it and heard about it later, we would have been disappointed. So an important like point of this story, this part of it, is that I never get migraines. I found out that day what a migraine was. It was probably this combo of like the stress and excitement and like the good kind of anxiety mixed with like the getting up early and the drinking, and I was just like a hot mess. And I'm thinking to myself, not now. Like, this is when you have to be cool, Alexis. It's literally your husband's 30th birthday. You're in Austin, Texas. You're not going to be down for the count. It's not going to happen. So I'm like really trying to rally. We sit at a table. I mean, it was kind of amazing because we only waited for an hour. I don't know how it happened. God was on our side that day. And so I'm standing in line with a friend while Matt and the other people in our group can like be outside, sitting at the table, catch some rays. We'll order the food, whatever. I start to like lose it. My brain is like going numb. I feel like I'm literally going to die, pass out, throw up. Like, my systems were failing. And if you've ever been the one in the group that isn't feeling up to everyone else's standard, you know what I'm saying when you're like, please no, like not right now. You want to have fun and you don't want to be the Debbie Downer. So I'm trying everything I can to like rally on, but it was like it was a tough time. It was for sure a migraine. So I'm like, I gotta go sit down. I'm gonna go, switch with someone at the table. So I call my sister and ask her to come up. So Matt ends up coming up and waiting in line. I go down and sit with my sister. When I tell you, the second that I walked out of the restaurant, Jon Favreau, the actor, you do know who he is if you look it up. He's been in Couples Retreat, Iron Man. If you don't know the name, look up the face. You definitely know who he is. He is one of I just love the guy. Yeah, I walked out of the restaurant, and apparently that's when he walked in. So I'm recovering at the table. I had no idea that he was there at this point. My husband and our friend come down, and they have all the food, and he's like, hey, someone was up there, and it was John, what's his name? John Favreau. And we look him up. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I would have been spunky during the worst migraine if I saw that guy. Like, of course the timing is like, I walk out and he walks in. So I'm like a stalker outside. I'm like, well, if he went in, he's got to come out. And I will be waving to him. I will try to get a picture. Like, I just, whatever. There's some point in your life, like, I realize celebrities are just people. And I wouldn't get this excited about a lot of celebrities. But it's just so happened, like, he was, like, part of my, like, movie, growing up. Like, I've just seen him in so much, and he's just great. So I got a little too excited. So as I'm, like, dying, trying to, like, eat to stay alive, I see him come out, and I, like, slowly migrate over. My sister's slowly migrating over. Like, we're such creeps. And as he drives away, it's like we're waving to the queen. And he just, like, sticks his hand out. Like, we're, like, little middle school girls. We're like, oh, my gosh, did you see, he saw us? So anyway, it was a big impact for us that it was like kind of like a mission accomplished. And it was very nostalgic for at least Abby and I to be recognized by this man that we've definitely watched on our screen hundreds of times at home. Like this, he's on our screens regularly. So at this point, we finish eating at Franklin Barbecue. We have our bags with an hour still to check in before the Airbnb opens. That's only like 12 minutes away. So we're like staring at the bags and looking at each other and looking at the bags and looking at each other and just wondering like, what do we do? And I feel like a little bit bad at this point because I just think I should have planned for this, but I didn't want to plan anything. I wanted for once in my life to be like a free bird and not plan anything besides like the comedy show. But we definitely made the most of it. So I don't know if you've ever heard of Lime scooters. I don't see them around here. They're the electric scooters that are just like, you ride them and you leave them, and you ride them and you leave them on the street. So there were 2 Lime scooters where we were eating at Franklin Barbecue, and Matt is like super adventurous. So he was like, oh, I want to ride that. And my sister was like, oh, I want to ride one. Well, there's 2. So we said, let's pick a bar going towards our Airbnb. You guys can scooter over and we'll take the bags. And I'm just thinking, like, I don't know if I should have said that because there's a lot of bags here. So it was hysterical. We were lugging all of these suitcases. My sister's best friend, who's this tiny little thing, her and I are just like, literally, it's so funny. I'll post this video too when this episode comes out because we're just like dying in like, the Texas heat, lugging these bags, and we have no idea where we're going, but it's just like a funny memory for the books. But the Lime scooters ended up being the star of our trip. I don't know why we do not have them just like around in New Hampshire. I think the closest I saw them was in Salem, Mass. They're so fun and they go so fast and they're so easy. Like you just have an app on your phone and you scan your license and then you just scan the scooters and you literally just like scan it, ride it, scan it, leave it, scan it, ride it. So essentially you could use it instead of a car. So Matt, like I said, he gets the Lime scooter at the barbecue spot with my sister, and we get to the next bar. Now we've lugged these bags, like I said. They scootered over. We're all there. Matt goes to get a drink. Matt doesn't have his license. So he's just thinking, where could it be? And I go straight to airport. I go straight to like New Hampshire airport. Like, we're screwed for the trip. This is not going to be good. Well, he quickly realized, I think I left it on the table when I was registering to ride the Lime scooter. And I said, please, God, let it be in the state of Texas. So him and Abby scooter back for like 20 something minutes. It was there. It was all okay. It was just a scare. But by that time, with all those shenanigans, it's time to check in. So at this point, Matt still has no idea where we're staying. He knows we're just like waiting for, check in somewhere. So we said, hey, let's Uber with the bags. Considering you guys are like the scooter king and queen, we'll give you an address and you scooter there. So this was another really cool moment because, like I said, Matt had no idea what was coming for him with where we were staying. So it was really cute. We were inside the house waiting for him, and Abby and him pulled up, and he was just ecstatic. He had no idea that, we were going to stay in such an awesome spot. So in case you were still worried, about me, because, I know this is Matt's birthday trip, but it's a lot of Alexis. Yeah, I still had that migraine. And so what I did was what I would fight everything to not do. I went upstairs and I slept. Like, that is so unlike me. But I made sure that everybody else had fun. Like, we got the drinks ready for them. There was a hot tub at the place. So, like, Matt, all I care about is that Matt's having a great time. I just always, I have FOMO. I like to be a part of everything. But I'm like recognizing, okay, if you're even going to half of rally, you need to sleep. So I go sleep. So I have a piece of the story that I can't really fill in because I was MIA. But I'm pretty sure that the whole time I was sleeping, Matt and my sister and her friend, they were just in the hot tub, having a ball, just soaking it up. So then I woke up, a new person, ready to go. We found the coolest restaurant for dinner because at this point, it's dinner time. So we get up, we get ready, we go to a restaurant called Space Cowboy, and it was the coolest restaurant experience I have ever had in my life. The theme of the restaurant was exactly what it sounds like. It was a mix of all this cactus cowboy vibe with these really cool space twinkly lights that just created this explosion of the coolest ambiance. Also, before dinner, we had another huge surprise, which was the last surprise that I had in store for Matt. His best friend from high school showed up at the Airbnb as we're getting ready to go to dinner, which he also freaked out about. And one thing, I just want to pause for a second. This was the coolest, most well-rounded, group to go with. Everybody, which if you've ever planned a trip with friends or, a group of people, if you're all hungry at the same time, you all want a drink at the same time, you all want to rest at the same time, you're all up for the same thing at the same time. I mean, it was wild that we were all just so go with the flow. So skipping, going back to dinner, we did almost lose Abby's friend. She was kind of falling asleep at the table, but all was well. I mean, we all rallied for Matt's birthday. So what was really cool about the restaurant too was they had robots bring you your food and drinks. Yeah, robots. So they weren't the creepy ones that were, walking these Tesla robots or whatever, but they did have, it was on a cycle that went around to all the tables, and you'd put your order in with your wait staff, and then when it was ready, it would just come to your table. I mean, it was the coolest mix of technology and people coexisting for a business. It was very cool. So we had the best time, yummy food, great drinks, and then we go out and we see these Lime scooters again. I told you they were going to come back. They're the star of the show. So we hop on a Lime scooter, and I'm I'm a baby, I'll say. Like, I'm kind of like a nervous Nelly when it comes to anything like that, like roller skating, like scootering, riding a bike. Like, I'm not really, I just don't like really trust myself in situations like that. Like, I'm going to timber or fall over. I don't like it. So I do what I called for the rest of the night Titanicking on other people's limes. So what I learned from that is being on someone else's electric scooter with them takes a whole lot more muscle and will make you very sore. You should just ride your own. It was really funny for everybody to watch me just like clinging on to other people because I just didn't want to get my own. So I learned very quickly. The next day I was on my own Lime scooter. So we had a great time. We went to like a couple really cool bars. One was like in a garage, like in the walls of a garage. It was just like everything, every bar, every restaurant, everywhere we went was just very cool and different. Like Austin, Texas is just like everybody, you have to see it. You have to go. We will definitely be going again. So that night we got home, at whatever time, slept. And one thing that Matt also has always wanted to do is that, the cold plunge mixed with the sauna, like that therapy. So we find, now the next morning is his actual birthday. And we said, hey, well, why don't we go try that? So we find this, I guess, spa. You could call it like a wellness spa. And we did like that's what it's called, contrast therapy. And so we're sitting in the sauna, which I love. I love anything like that. The cold, not so much. So we're sitting in the sauna, and how it works is you go from the sauna into a freezing cold ice bath. And you alternate however you want to. And you can end on cold or you can end on hot. And if you end on hot, it's kind of like you could go to bed after. Like you're very mellow. If you end on cold, you're energized, ready for the day. Well, we had all been drinking till 4 a.m, so we were definitely all ending on cold so that we could be ready to go. So we go in, we're switching off, and we did pretty well in the cold. Like, it was cold, but I kind of liked it. It was kind of like an addicting feeling, the way that, like, it was such a rush and the endorphins were going. It was definitely, again, definitely an experience that I would recommend you at least try, even though, like, it does sound miserable. It's exhilarating. Like, it's almost like you take a drug without taking a drug. Like, you're, like, shocking your body. So we really liked that. And, to focus on Matt for his birthday, like, that's another thing that he always wanted to do, and we just haven't done it yet. So, for his actual birthday to kick it off like that, I mean, we're just checking all the boxes on this trip. So then we take the limes, take the lime scooters to a lunch spot, get some good food, go back to the house. And at this point, the time has come. The time has come to get ready and go to, say it with me, Comedy Mothership. We're ready for it. So we're getting ready. Everyone is so excited. And I have this idea in my head that, like, we're sitting front row. Like, I have been on the comedy club's Instagram. Matt has for years. Like, this is happening. And sometimes Joe Rogan shows up for a show at the end and surprises everybody and does a set, but we knew he wasn't going to be there because there was a UFC event in Vegas that night. So, I mean, we were there for Steve Byrne anyway, but it would have been like a really cool added bonus, but we knew that wasn't going to happen. So I said, look, Steve Byrne does a lot of crowd work. We are sitting front row. So we go into downtown early because I'm like, I will sit my bum on the sidewalk in downtown Austin, Texas. if it means that we get in early. So they actually have like a really cool way that they work the crowd there. They just say, the show starts at 7, come at 6. From 6 to 6:30, you're allowed to go into the bar that's connected to the showroom. And that closes at 6:30, and then the line starts outside. So as long as you get there by 6:30, you're good. So very important, there were 6 of us on this trip. Okay, just keep that in mind for later. There were 6 of us, an even number on this trip. So we have time to spare because we got there really early. So we go to, again, just the coolest bar I've ever been to. They're playing Avril Lavigne. I mean, it's the windows are like open out to the main street. It's just like everything there is just cooler and bigger and better. So, we get a drink there, and then it's time to, go across the street. So, our friend Tina, who also went on this trip, is a mom, and she was like, oh, I'm going to hang back, kind of like have some mom recovery time. Like, I'll meet you guys when you go into the show. So I call her and I say, hey, we just kind of have to be in by this time. And it doesn't work with her timing getting ready, which is totally fine. Like, I didn't know that we were going to have this like clock to follow. So when I found out, I told her, and so it looked like, she's a really good friend. She was like, you guys are going to go in because you came for this, and I'll just sit wherever. There's not going to be a bad seat. But she knew how determined I was to make this happen. Like, we're going there. We're going to sit in the front. It's going to happen. I don't know how much I believe in manifesting, but if you do, I did, and that was going to happen. So she's at the house. So now there are 5 of us. So skip ahead, we get into the bar, and it comes to the time, the person up front had said, if you do want to sit up front, kind of migrate to the back of the bar because that's who goes into the showroom first. So we're migrating to the back of the bar. They open the doors. So we go in, and the usher is like, oh, how many people? We say 5. I quickly eyeball that the tables that line the stage are tables of 2. We had 6, and now we're 5. So I understand that the math doesn't math. However, we're sitting there. We planned for this. We got here at a good time, and we're good people. Like, we deserve it. So it's happening. So the guy, he was so sweet, the usher. He was like, okay, 5, you're going to sit here. And what does he do? He shows us a table in the second row. And now, like, we're the first ones in. So it's not like the seats are taken yet. And I just kind of, like, tapped his shoulder. I'm like, hey, so, like, I know what I'm kind of asking a lot, but, like, we came from New Hampshire, and it's his birthday. I pull, like, the embarrassing wife, like, this is special. Can we just, like, whatever. And he was like, I'm sorry, their tables are 2. I'm like, yeah, but you're gonna find somebody to sit there. Like, there's gonna be another odd party coming. I'm pushing, okay? The point is I'm pushing. And I just tapped him again. And I was like, please, like, the 5 of us, can we please just sit? Like, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're just gonna go sit there, okay? Like, I'm telling you, like, I promise, like, I know what I'm talking about. So I promise it's gonna be okay. Like, there's gonna be another odd party. And just put him there with me. So, by the grace of God, he's like, I must have tapped him 1 too many times. And he was so, he was so nice. He just said, okay, fine. Yeah, go sit there. So, at this point, like, we did it. We are sitting front row at Comedy Mothership. And I cannot even explain to you. So, there was that seat next to me, and it actually did get filled by a guy who came in. He was an older guy, and it was funny. Like, so Matt and his friend from high school sat together, and Abby sat with her friend. So I was at the table with the extra seat, and you just never know who you're gonna get. And it was really funny because it was this guy who was older, and like older, and he was reluctant to find out that my husband was at the table next to me. And then he tried to later then get with my sister, later then try to get with my sister's friend. It made for a really great story. We love you. You know who you are. You made our trip even more memorable. But yeah, that was hilarious. So even after the show, he had kind of like lingered and followed us around. But the second we had mentioned getting on like Lime scooters, yeah, Grandpa took off because that's just not happening. So for the show, it was so good. Like even Steve Burns' openers were phenomenal. I mean, we didn't stop laughing the whole show. We were obviously probably the perfect amount of intoxicated where like I remember every joke, but we were like loose and having fun. So of course we were yelling out like, oh, that it was Matt's birthday. And the first comedian comes out and he goes, it's your birthday, give me a hug. And like he gave Matt a hug, and it's just like everything happened where it was like, this is why we sat in the front. And then Steve Byrne did this gig where, you know, he was pretending to be like Joe Biden, and he came up to us and like grabbed Matt's face, and then he came up to me and like sniffed my hair, and it was just like, it was beyond hilarious. And it just like that show alone made like the trip so worth it. Like if everything that I have said wasn't enough to make the trip perfect, it's just like this show, we're just thinking about it. Like all the comedians were phenomenal. We just have to see them all again. Like I just so highly recommend, like literally do this itinerary exactly for a trip and you'll be so happy. Nonetheless, to say that Matt's birthday was a huge hit. He was so happy. We watched the UFC fights after the show at another really cool bar, of course. And then, you know, we headed home. And the night got a little interesting. Some of our members of our crew brought some other characters back to the house and had their own good time. I won't say names, but it got a little interesting. And I'm just psycho, right? Like if there's anybody that if I'm staying in an Airbnb with people that I know, I'm like triple checking the doors are locked, maybe propping something up against them. Like I'm taking this seriously. So there was a character who was like super sweet. I wasn't worried in particular at all, but like my detective, like, you know, claws came out. So Matt and I are exhausted. We have to get up like kind of early, you know, all of us for our flight. And we're not willing to take the risk of like, do we stay up at the house and like kind of like keep the party going? No, we should probably like tap out, go to bed, wake up, kind of, sort of, not dead. So we go to bed and I just know that there's like other people or like someone else that we don't know in the house. And again, it doesn't matter their personality at all. I just was like, you know, it's going down and I know that they're going to stay the night. So I'm over here like locking our bedroom door, pushing something up against it, like just in case. Well, little to find out, right? So everybody made it out alive. Everybody was safe. Everything was fine. We, you know, have a pretty normal travel on the way home. We get back home and I was like, man, you know, I got to tell you, having somebody that was not in our party at the house really made me feel like, I don't know, I just get crazy. So my sister Abby goes, oh, you're not alone. I took a picture of his license just in case anything went wrong and might have snagged a Starbucks gift card while I was at it. So you have one sister rigging the house to make sure everybody's safe and good and, you know, is going psycho. And then you have the other sister clocking the dude and taking a picture of his license and going through his personal belongings. So needless to say, you know, we're two peas in a pod, but that was the trip. That was it. It was a wild ride. I think I hit everything. What's most important is that Matt had a great birthday. It was a great time. we have great stories from it. And yeah, we have great friends, and we surround ourselves with great people. And I can't wait to keep making more memories like that. So the big 3-0 has happened for Matt, and he's got many more years to go. So the stories will keep coming. That is the story that I have for you today. I'm going to stop there, save the rest for another time. But make sure you're following the Instagram at A Lot of Alexis Podcast, the TikTok at A Lot of Alexis Podcast. And you already know where we're at. We have Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. We love that you're here. I'm so grateful. So thanks for being here, where there's a lot to say, a lot to do, and a whole lot of Alexis.